Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Corey and thanks for joining me. Today we're gonna work on my Rust blog a little bit, and so I was working on some this weekend that I want to continue hacking on with you all. And so I wanted to add GitHub auth back to my blog. So I started working on that, but then I kind of realized that I have all of these little side projects. We have Cache that we worked on last week. And I have another one. I want to make a little uptime tracker app, like a little simple uptime tracker. And I want these all to have some kind of auth. And instead of building auth for each of them, I thought it would be fun to build auth once on my blog and like kind of make my blog an identity provider and let all of my other personal projects integrate with that for their authentication. And so that's what we're going to work on today. I have a relatively bare bones demo of that we're going to play with first. And then we're going to see where we want to go from here. I think the next thing we're actually going to do is right now there's a little bit of like my two services, my blog and my separate service that we're calling status at the moment. There's not really as much authentication between them. I think I either need some public key stuff or a shared secret or something. So we're going to look into that. But I also want that to be really easy. Like I don't want to mess with this too much. So I want to like maybe build a tool into my blog that can like just set the environment variable where it needs to go for me for this or something. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna hack around today, and we're gonna see where we go. So let me pull up VS Code. Or I'm actually in Cursor, which is a VS Code fork at the moment, but same idea. Oops, uh-oh. I might have just leaked a little bit of secrets. I'll cut that from the video. Okay, so we're in my project here. We're in the GitHub. We're on this branch that I was working on, and let's just go ahead and get it running. We're going to do the same with our status app. And actually, let's start by checking out the status app because it's really simple, and we might as well. We have setup that I basically just copied from my blog, and this just sets up tracing and Sentry for us, just because I want this to be a realer project eventually, so might as well get everything set up from the beginning. And then in main, or underscore main, because that's where we actually run all of our stuff here, but that's not super related. So in here, we're just doing a simple Axum app. We have a router that has a few routes. There's a root route, which is just at the bottom here. It just renders some HTML. We're using Maud, my favorite HTML macro in Rust at the moment. So that just renders a generic hello world body, nothing exciting. And then in login, what we do is we find the URL of our IDP, which is going to be something like CoreyJA.com for real life, but at the moment I have that running on localhost 3000 locally, so that's what we're going to default to without our environment variable. And we're going to just redirect people to the IDP/login/status. So /status here is the name of our status app that is like registered on the other side. And then we just do the redirect. And then the only exciting bit here is the login callback method. And it's not even that exciting, but it's a little more exciting. So here we get some query params. And these are coming from my blog or the IDP here. So we get a state string as a query param. And so again, we find the IDP URL from the environment variables. And then we do a post to login claim/ID. Where that ID is the state from this query. And so that's saying, hey, we were trying to log someone in, you gave us this state code, we're gonna claim it and get a login back. And then the response that you get is, let's just find out. So if we go to localhost 3001, I think is what this is running on. 3001, yep. /log, or let's just do the root first, make sure it's up. There we go. We can go to /login and we'll do this redirect dance, except before I do that, let me open my network tab so we can like watch it do that. Preserve log. Okay, so login. Missing field code. So that's broken. So I was doing this on my laptop last night and I hadn't actually tried it yet on my desktop here. So let's get debugging. So we hit login correctly. That redirected us to well, I can just look what the next one is. It redirected us to 3000 login status. Yep. So then that redirected us to GitHub with all the right things. GitHub knew who we were, and I'm already authorized with this app, so we skipped the login screen. And then it was going to go back to, oh, error. The redirect URI must match the registered callback URL for this application. Oh, okay, so what redirect URI did I pass? Redirect URI. Oh, it pointed to the real site. Oh, I am going to have to go into secrets mode for just a second, so I don't leak any more secrets, because I need to open my envarc file. Which is where I store my environment variables, which is where I put all my secrets. So the app base URL right now is set to like production in this file, which doesn't really make sense. I want it set to localhost 3000 because that's where I'm actually running in this environment. And if I do that, there we go. Cargo run again. I can come out of secrets mode. Hi everyone. Oh, I forgot you were seeing me the whole time. You just weren't seeing my screen. Even better. Okay, so now this should be up again, and let's try this all again. So let's go to 3001. That's this app. We can click login. Boom. And then we made it back to our app with the user ID that comes from my blog or our IDP. So that's kind of cool, and it's like kind of doing an OAuth flow. We'll head over to my blog and take a look at what it's doing, and then I think we're going to add some authentication. There's one bit here that I don't like about this flow at the moment, and so we're going to improve that. So here is the blog. Let's head over to the very unorganized block of code where this lives. So I added this auth route here. So actually, let's go look at just our routes in general. There's a few that are relevant, and some of them are just inlined. Okay, so we have login, and this is just the login like for my blog, so we'll skip that for now. That's not really related to the IDP dance, but this one is login and then from app. So this is where we had status before. Could probably rename this from project because that makes more sense later down, but we'll get there. So we're saying this is a get. We need our app state, and we grab the from app from the path param here. So the first thing we do is we insert a GitHub login states row into our database. So GitHub login states tracks the flow of this GitHub OAuth for an external app specifically. Is this for an external app? Yeah, it is for an external app because we have it in the path. So, yes, so I don't think I'm using this for the normal login at the moment. No, I'm not, but I might eventually. Kind of just chatting to myself. Okay, so this tracks the flow of this GitHub login. So we create it in a created state. That's the state here. I don't know why I'm substituting this in. I could just write created here and then not pass that in. Kind of like that better. Set the database URL. I have set the database URL. That's not the right problem. Oh, I might need to quit my editor because I did install a different plugin. Let's see what's going on with this. Yeah, reload required. Okay. Reload. There we go. Restart. Switched which durenv plugin I was using in VS Code, and this one seems to be a little bit better. Sometimes I was having trouble with my old one getting Rust Analyzer to recognize the database URL that it needed for SQLX to compile my queries, but now it seems to be working great. And the reason that it needs a database to compile is because SQLX is type checking my SQL for me, which is really cool. Like, it makes sure that whatever I'm passing for this GitHub login state ID, UUID, like, is the right type. Even if I just did a string instead of a UUID, it would yell at me. And the same for our other parameters. Like, this 2 is app. This needs to be a string. And if I did like a number, I believe I will get a compiler error once Rust Analyzer and Clippy come back to life, which can take a second sometimes. Ready, it says. Well, then start doing things instead of being ready. I even gave you some save events so that you could come to life. Oh, okay. Well, we insert this thing into the database. We don't need to see this compiler error right now. Hopefully, Rust Analyzer comes to life, though, in a minute. If it doesn't, I might need to kick it. Actually, let's just kick it now. Rust Analyzer reload workspace. That might not be enough. We're gonna, like, just close that completely and open a new window and just start over on that one a little bit and see if it's any better. Yep. You can restart the environment thingy. That's pretty fine. Yeah, there we go. Now we're fetching metadata. This looks like it's working a little bit better this time. Not sure what that was about. Okay, so back to this OAuth dance, though. We insert this row just to track the state. It has an ID that we generate, and we redirect to GitHub for their OAuth. We send our client ID, which is a GitHub app client ID that I have set up, and we send the redirect URI, which is going to hit auth GitHub OAuth at our column created does not exist. Well, good thing. Oh, wrong quotes for Postgres. There we go. And you can see, so it knew that type error there nicely for me, and if I change this to a 2, it'll see expected string found integer, which is awesome. Okay. So we redirect to GitHub, pass it the client ID and the redirect URI. That's like the GitHub spec. You need to pass it those for OAuth to work. And then we can optionally pass it a state. So we are passing this random UUID regenerated as the state, the GitHub login state ID. So let's check out our auth GitHub OAuth route, which is, I think, the one that I put in this separate spot. Yeah, so it's the one that lives in this other file because I don't organize things the best when I write them. That's going to be one of the things I will refactor into, and maybe we'll do some of that on stream today. We'll see. Okay, so this is what we get after OAuth with GitHub. So they're going to pass us this GitHub OAuth response query. This is going to be in the query params. It's going to have the access token, when it expires, the refresh token, when the refresh token expires, the scope and token type. And I think these scope and token types are basically just hard-coded to something, but we're going to grab them anyways from the params. I think we're only using these 4, if I remember correctly. Okay, so what we need to do, GitHub, oh, that's not, we don't get those right away. Sorry, we get this code, which of course isn't organized the best. It's just a little above it. That's okay. I'm going to move this just a little bit though. There we go. I just like it being right above this here. Okay, so what we get from the query params here is a code, which is a one-time use token, basically, kind of thing. And then we get the state, which is that UUID we passed in at the beginning. It's an option here because we might not get the UUID, and we mostly don't if we didn't pass a state to GitHub to start it. And that's the case when I'm not doing this from app stuff. The screen is frozen. Thank you for letting me know. And I'm sorry I missed you for a minute. Oh, it wasn't too bad, only a minute. Let me ooh, wait, what do I need to do? Okay, we're gonna go into secrets. And I'm gonna go into OBS. It's not the best if it's freezing because usually how I would fix that if I notice before I start is by going in and quitting OBS. But I don't want to do that because then I'll have to restart the stream. So let's see if I can avoid that real quick. I'm not really sure if I have a good idea. Okay, well, let's just switch, and I want to see if I go back, if you guys can see OBS. Thank you for the follows, everyone. I appreciate it. Nope, it still looks like that is very stuck on not the right screen. There's that screen capture. Yep, okay. Uh, hide the screen capture, show the screen capture. No, still messed up. Okay. Copy the screen capture, paste the screen capture. No, they're both. It's still frozen. They're both frozen. Okay. Uh-oh, team. Okay, give me just a second. I'm gonna stop this stream and rejoin it. And we'll be back. Is this towery or something? So right now we're looking. So no, I'm working on my personal blog, which is Axum, the web framework for Rust. So it's a site, not an app. So I don't need Towery or Tori. I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's an Axum based app, and I'm working on making it like a identity provider for single sign-on. So I will be right back in like 10 seconds. I just got to quit OBS because that's the only way I know to unfreeze my screen. And that's going to kill the stream, but I will be back in under 10 seconds, I hope. See you all in a second. And I think we're back. There we go. Can I switch to something else? And can I see it in my little preview? Yep. Okay. Everything's back. And now I can respond to chat. Thank you for hanging out. That ZQ's one. Oh man, can I call you Vat? I'm gonna call you Vat if that's okay, or give me a different nickname if that's not acceptable. So we might use a JSON Web Token. That's one of the things I'm gonna have to add. Right now, there's like no auth going on. Like I have two services and they just kind of post back and forth, but I'm realizing that I need some kind of authentication in a step here, which I'll get to in just a second of this flow. So we might use a JSON Web Token to say like, hey, you know that I'm this second service and I signed my token. Or we might just do like a pre-shared secret, just put a password in each one, kind of. So we're gonna get there. So yeah. But Rust is my main lang. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't do Rust professionally, but I've been doing it for a long time now. It's definitely pretty much what I do for all my streams and all of my personal project stuff. So I love Rust. It's a lot of fun. And I mostly do web stuff, so that's the area I come from the most. Okay, so we are looking at the callback that GitHub gives us after OAuth. They gave us the code, which is like the one-time use thing, and we passed our state through. That's the ID of that basically state machine record that's in our database. So the first thing that we do is we ask GitHub for an access token. And we do that by giving it our client ID and secret. These are things we just registered with GitHub so they know who we are. And this is their pre-shared secret. So this is the client secret bit is something that I don't have when I'm talking between my apps, and I think we need to add it. So GitHub here is doing it with just a pre-shared secret. They know what this client secret is and can verify I gave them the right one. And then I pass the code and the redirect URI. This is just, again, required for the API. And the code says, yeah, this is the one-time use token you just gave me. I want an access token from it. And then once we have our access token, I can ask who the user is. So interestingly enough, when you log in initially with GitHub, they give you a token to act on behalf of the user, but they don't tell you who the user is yet. So you have to make another API call to the user endpoint to figure out who, what this access token is for. So once we have the user info, we can pull the user. Oh, well, there's two things here. We, wait a sec. What is the, oh, this is where we fetch the optional. Yeah. So what we first try to do is we try to find a user in the database, based on this external GitHub login. So we know their, oh, I want to change this to ID as well, but that's separate. Well, actually it's not. I know their GitHub ID here. And I'd rather use the ID instead of the login, because you can change your GitHub username. So I'd rather my auth be based on the ID, which is stable. The screen is frozen again. Oh man, this is not going good. What's going wrong with my OBS today? And I really wish I could fix this with, even kick it again. I just wish I could kick it again without restarting stream, because that's really annoying. Oh, well, okay. This is actually kind of working. I just have to like resize this real quick. Here's a behind the scenes of me trying to set up OBS for you guys live here. That'll work. Hide the broken one so we don't get a little double. Okay. Okay. I think we're back. Man, this is a not the best stream for my screen to keep, or my screen is not having a good time this stream, but thank you so much for letting me know so I could take a look and get that fixed. I do have it up, but it's hard to tell for me when it's frozen sometimes. Okay, so GitHub links is a... Sorry, I did a lot on this in the last couple days, so it's very fresh in my mind, but I forget that I probably need to go through it a little slower. Okay, so GitHub links. We have two tables here that are relevant. We have a users table, which just tracks a user ID. There's nothing in our user yet. And then we have GitHub links. This is like the GitHub, like, you know, I have a user that I know about, and this is who they are in GitHub. And I'm currently saying you only have one GitHub account per login in my blog, because I don't think I need to support multiple. Okay, so we're linked to a user. A GitHub link knows which user it belongs to. It stores the username and the GitHub ID. And then it stores the access token and refresh token and when they expire. So that's kind of the data model that we're working with. So we try to find this user and their GitHub link. So we do that by trying to match on this external GitHub ID that we got from the user API. So if we found that user, if we found a user and their GitHub link, we save the access token and their login, because again, this can change. So all of this stuff could change from our GitHub link, so we refresh it with the latest data. And then we're just like returning this at the moment. Give me just a second for your question in chat, Vat, and I will read it and respond. I just want to finish this else. So if we didn't find the user from the database, that means this is the first time you're logging in. So it's more like a sign up than a login, but I don't want to have a user think about that, right? They just click login, they go through the GitHub flow and they're logged in. Doesn't matter if it's new or not. So we have to handle that in code. So first thing we do is we just insert a user. That's just the user ID, so it's nice and easy. And then we insert the GitHub link with all the information that it has and that we just updated if we found one. So we give it its own ID, we give it the user ID that we just inserted, we give it the external GitHub ID and login, and then all the tokens. And then return those. And so now let me take a sec and look at chats, because we got some good ones. So Vat said, what do you recommend for low latency WebSocketing libs, or how to implement it yourself? I feel that bad asking that because it's so open for a question, but I've had so many issues doing that, and you use Rust Web, so I had to ask. So I haven't done much WebSocket-y stuff with Rust, so I don't know anything really off the top of my head, and especially if you've looked into it a bit, I don't think I have anything especially to add. I think, actually, let me Google this a little bit for you. I think Axum has a library. I think there's an Axum WebSocket library. Oh, as a tower service. Yeah, that's probably decent. Yeah, these don't have as many use as I would like them to have. Like it's not bad. It's just, you know, it would be nice if it was a little more. So yeah, no, I don't really think I have a lot of advice for you. This easy sockets is named well, right? You want one that's easy probably, though if you want low latency, maybe you don't want the easy version. Depends on what your use case is. Yeah, I don't really have too much advice for you there. Unfortunately, the only time I've done WebSocket stuff is really in TypeScript and JavaScript, so not super helpful. Because I need them to go with low latency. C, Rust, and all the ones that stream aren't very well maintained for the new web protocols, and I will just have constant errors for newer APIs. Yeah, no, that's pretty fair. That's the one thing about Rust in the web, especially on the front end, is it's still pretty bleeding edge, I'd say, you know? Like, there's definitely some front end webby stuff in Rust, and but it's definitely not super stable or mature. So I totally feel that. My math logic is making orders in like 30 nanoseconds, but the web part slows me down so bad. So like, are you just making like HTTP requests right now, and your just HTTP latency is really, really bad? High frequency trading, yeah, that makes sense. Using Go and Redis or gRPC. Oh, that's fair. gRPC, oof. I thought gRPC was over a socket-like connection where I'm not sure WebSockets would be more efficient. But I'm not positive about that. I'm not very familiar with gRPC by using it. Like, I know of it and stuff, but I haven't used it a ton. So yeah, basically, I'm not sure WebSockets feel like the answer to the problem you're having, but I'm definitely not sure, and it would be hard to say without fully seeing the system and everything. But oh man, Masala, Leet. Maybe I'll just go with the Leet postfix at the end. What's a good practice to use end files in Rust so we serialize it into a config struct? Yeah, so let me show you what I do, and then I'll get back to the other chats here. So I'm in my blog, right? Yep. So I want to find my app state struct. This is the structure that I hold all of my config in, and then I give this to Axum to hold on to, and all of my routes have access to it. So these config objects are a good example of what I've been doing. I'm not going to promise you that this is the best practice, but I'll show you what I've been doing, and if you like it, feel free to steal it, and if you don't, please let me know, and I might steal it from you. So here's what I got. I got one big struct. It contains some smaller structs and like all of my blog data, but let's look at GitHub config, for instance. This is just a struct with all of the fields that I have for it. And they're all public to the crate because I just like, I just want people to be able to grab fields off this whenever they need it. And then I've been implementing a from end method here that is supposed to be like from the environment. And what it does is it just grabs everything from environment variables. So like it grabs the GitHub ID, grabs all the environment variables and returns an error if any of them aren't found. Right now the error message isn't very good. It just says like couldn't find environment variable. It doesn't even tell you the name, but that's a thing we can improve upon for sure. And so I have a few of these from M's. Like there's the GitHub one, the Twitch config has one, the OpenAI config has one, I believe. And so then I put all of those environment variables, so like, the GitHub one, I put all of these environment variables in a .m file. I use dir.env so that like when I cd into a directory, it loads all of them, and there's a VS Code plugin for that I use. And so I put them in an env.rc file, which I'm not going to pull up because it has all my secrets in it. And then when my code runs, it pulls all those variables and gets them into my Rust in nice structs for me. So I don't have to refer to environment variables throughout the app. And I can just do that once at the beginning. Yeah, so let's get back to your networking thing here. I want to chat about it a little bit more. What's the network between, right? So like what were you going to put WebSockets between? Or like what's the where's the problem pop, right? Where's the network slow that you're looking to improve? I'm curious to dig into this problem more. And Leet, that's what I'm going to go with for you at the moment. If you have more questions or thoughts on that, let me know. Happy to chat about it. Okay, so I'm gonna get back to my OAuth though in between chats, but please keep chatting. I love chatting with you. Okay, so we're in this routes file because I have multiple routes files, of course. So I now know my user and the GitHub link ID that's associated with it. Just know that relation basically. So then what we do is we create a session. And this is where I'm going to be able to like expire sessions and let them time out and stuff. Right now we're not doing that, but we're going to get there. So we say we're inserting a new session with the session ID and the logged in user. We just make up a new session ID and pass in the user ID that we know. And then we set a cookie. We set a session ID cookie with this new ID of our session. We make it HTTP only, so JavaScript can't interact with it. Makes it a little more secure from people stealing it. And then secure means it'll only be used on HTTPS, again, so someone can't intercept our cookie. Localhost is an exception. It's trusted as secure, so you can run on localhost and still get this cookie. Setting the expires to none here makes it a session cookie, so that expires at the end of our session. And then here's the bit that gets back to the SSO, the single sign-on part that I mentioned before, right? So if there is a state from the query param, we know it's a ID from our GitHub login states table. That's the state we passed to GitHub. So what we do is we look for a GitHub login state that's linked. Oh wait, no. We look for a GitHub login state by this ID. And actually, we should really be doing and state equals created, because I'm tracking the state of these and I want to make sure each of these steps only happens once, or else we're going to kind of have issues. And I really then should probably be locking these records so that I don't have race conditions where if a request fires twice, weird things happen. But I think we're going to ignore logging for just a minute and maybe come back to it later. So we got the state from, we got this ID that was the state from our GitHub OAuth. We looked up that record. We are now updating its state to say that we completed GitHub. So we move it from the created state to the GitHub completed state. And we assign the GitHub link ID. So this tells us, you know, who the login was with, and that's associated to a user if we ever needed it. So it says, okay, this GitHub login resulted in this person being logged in, basically, right? Awesome. And then if that happened, we are going to use that GitHub login states has an app column, an app attribute. So we're going to use that app to find the project that it's associated with. And this is where I'm basically doing an OAuth type flow here, but I get to cheat a little bit because I own both the apps here, right? I own both CoreyJA.com and this other status app we're making. So I get to like take advantage of that a little bit. And this is kind of one of those places. So in my projects, I just created I like have all of my projects as markdown files, and they have some metadata up top that I can use in my site for different things. And so I just added a project for status, this app that we're working on. And I added login callback. So it now knows where to go if someone tries to log into status. It says, oh yeah, status is over here. Here's where I need to send a login callback. And I don't need to like register it as much because like I own both. I could just code this into my blog. This is basically though, like you go to GitHub and register a new OAuth app. It's just setting these in their system so they know where to do the callback to. But Leet, I want to look at your setup here. You're driving, okay, so this is on a clap config. Oh, you're doing it with a clap config. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not so like, you know, for my server, I don't have a CLI where I want to change those things from the CLI, so I'm not using clap for that, and I'm doing it just with structs and loading the environment variables manually, but that makes a lot of sense to do it with clap, especially if it has built-in support for the env stuff there, because then you kind of get what I like. That clap, or that parse method that clap gives you is basically my from env then, right? It's going to pull from the environment variables if you didn't give it a CLI arg that overrides it. I like that a lot. That's really nice. And then I assume those environment variables are just basically conventionally named. You just uppercase everything. That's nifty. I like that a lot. Cool. So this is the project for the status app we're working on. And so we can find the project that initiated this login. And assuming we found the project and that project has a login callback URL, we redirect the user to that login callback and give it the state in query param, which is our GitHub login state ID that we've been passing around. So we passed this to GitHub, they passed it back, and now we're passing it all the way to the like real consumer, our other status app that's using single sign-on here. Phew. And we're almost done with this flow, but we have to hop to the other app. Okay, so we hit login callback. This is the last step here. And we already looked at this a little bit, but now we're doing the whole flow, so let's do it again. So we get this state from the blog, and we now need to claim that login and like say, yep, we got it, we're logging in as that person. And the reason that's important is we don't want this state to be able to be reused, right? You only want to be able to log in with this thing exactly one time and not be able to log into it like repeatedly. And that's what the claiming process is here for. So we find the URL of our IDP, also known as my blog, and we claim the ID. And that claim right now just gives us the user ID, but really that's where I think it might want to give us like an access token, something that we can store and make calls to on behalf of this app. Or something like that. So this is a little different. Like I don't have an API that I'm trying to access. I just want to do the identity providing, so I don't need it. And that's why we're just returning a user ID. It's a little weird. I'm not sure I like it. And also this step is where I think we need some more authentication, right? When I do this post to my blog and pass it this state, I'm not proving that I am the status app. Anyone who has this state could impersonate me and be like, hey, I'm logging in as that. And then get whatever access token or user ID information back. Right now with just the user ID, like maybe it's not as big of a deal, but if that was an access token, that's like you don't want to leak that, right? So I want to make sure that when each of my apps makes this claim call to my blog, they can prove that they are who they say they are. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out the best way to do. The easiest way probably is just to do something like secret equals and then like grab this from an env var, do like standard yeah, exactly, like Corey J A secret or like Corey J A auth secret maybe, right? Something like that. And then I would then also then have to set this auth secret though in Corey J A so it knows to check against it. And now I just have state in so many places, and I liked not having, like I put the callback URL just in the Git repo, which is public, so I can't put the secret right next to it, and that's a little weird. So I don't really think I want to do shared secrets, but they're probably the easiest answer, unfortunately, here. And that's kind of where we're at, but now I do want to do this whole flow and have it work. So oh no, we already did see that. I want to do it again now that I've explained it, but I want to check chat quick. In combination with .env create, you can load the env file into your environment. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. I actually probably even have Flap because I do have like one CLI arg thing, but I'm not using it like that. But I maybe could though. That's a really nice way to tie those together. I like that. So like this is where someone mentioned earlier JSON Web Tokens, JWTs, and this is where I could do something JSON Web Token-y. Maybe you post a JSON Web Token to the login claim that's signed by a key that you have, and that the public key of that is set already in the blog, so it knows how to verify that JSON Web Token came from the person who said it came from them, right? And do like that, because then I can put the public key in my repo, right? That's just public information, and the only secret I have then is the private key that I need to put in each individual app. And that's okay, right? Maybe that's not awful. I can just put one environment variable that's our auth key. Like that's the setup that's required, right? You need to put the public key in the blog and put the private key in your app, and then you're pretty good to go, and that's not too bad. So I think that's where I want to go. I think we're gonna do that. Yeah, let's do that. And so I think I also, oh, this is the status app. I want to go back to my blog. I believe I have some JSON Web Token stuff that I was also working on recently for different GitHub bots. So we're not going to do it like this, but I wanted to find out JSON Web Token. That's the crate we're using. Okay. Currently supported algorithms. Which like one do you recommend I use? Like, what if I don't know? Which uses a shared secret. I don't want to use a shared secret. When using these ones, the key is always a shared secret. Like when using RSA or EC, the keys should always be the content of the public key. Wait. Oh, this is decoding. Yeah, you decode it with the public key. So I think I want to do one of the EC ones. Oh man. I don't know that you can make pub private key setup in JWT. Yeah, you can. One of the types of encodings that you can do for JSON Web Tokens is public private keys. Like you can do RSA ones. I think that's probably the default. GitHub uses those for their GitHub app to GitHub API calls. So when you're not authenticating as a user, but you're just authenticating as your GitHub app, they use public private key JSON Web Tokens, which is pretty cool. And so I could probably just do RSA key pairs because that's just the standardy ones. Oh, you said you didn't know, not that you couldn't. I apologize. I misread that. But it is really cool, isn't it? I just have to pick the right thing, and I don't want to pick the wrong algorithm because like that's not great. But I don't know JWT pub key algo 2023. What if I do that? What do you want me to use? No, I know about algo confusion where you like don't set it and it like bad things do things, but I just want to know like what should I use? Just like someone tell me. That's the symmetric, asymmetric. So do I just want, is this what I want? Just, these are the ones you support. Do I just want RSA 256? If that's what everyone's going to be using, I guess. Yeah, okay. Looks like I'm just using RS256. Yep, okay. Let's do that. Okay. Cool. So Rust generate. Well, I wanted just a RS256 key. No. Rust generate portable RSA implementation in pure Rust. Love that. Much faster when building the higher up. Yeah, sure. Make it fast. Yep, I'm good with all those things. Cool. What's this? Oh, encrypting. Got it. That's an encryption thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I should just be able to okay. I need to make a private key, put that private key somewhere, and save the public key to my app. Okay. So I think what we're gonna do is, we're gonna use my local thing that I set up yesterday. This is also fun. So when I was hacking on some Rust in the last couple days, I come from a Ruby web background from profession, what I've been doing for a long time now. So I'm really used to like being in an interactive console and typing some Ruby and getting a result back, and I missed that from Rust. And I decided that the next best thing was just a file that I could rerun, and I'm pretty proud of this little thing that I set up. So I have this local template. I can copy the file and just make a local.rs, which is already get ignored, which is pretty nifty. And then I can just go into my console, and I can do cargo run bin local dash feature local, and it will run this, and I have it set up as a different binary, and I also have it set up, what was the other thing that's nifty about it? Yeah, it's just, oh, it's a different binary, and it doesn't, if it doesn't, it doesn't need to exist. If you don't set that feature flag, it doesn't try to compile it, so it doesn't need to exist. That's why I was able to not have it before and never run into issues, which is just a little nifty. I like it. Let's take a look at that. It's this. So my normal bin is just for main, and then I have my local one, which has the required feature. So if you don't have the local feature, it just doesn't run. And then local template just is always there as well, because that's the template, and you can run the template if you feel like it. Cool. So I have my local RS file. So cargo add RSA, because we're gonna add this. And what features? There's some features that I probably want. It looks like. Oh, I don't know. Those all seem... I don't know which one of those I want. It's okay. Yeah, let's just make some keys. I don't really need to do any database stuff, so we're just not gonna. I already have that in my template file if I need to steal it again. And so... Actually, let's just not do that. Let's just debug out private key and public key. Are they debugged? Is it gonna work? There might be something that I need to do. I might need to go to Rust Analyzer settings, VS Code settings, Rust Analyzer, and go down to the features. There's something about features. Feature. There we go. Set this to all. All. So that's the other thing that I need to do apparently on different machines, which is a little annoying, but now it should work in my local file because it'll use the local feature flag and be like, oh, cool. And I might need to add rand. I don't know if I have rand available. I bet someone already is depending on it, but I'm not directly. Come on, Rust Analyzer. I could just do this. Cargo run local. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so we got something out. So now I need to like convert these to formats that are more useful to me. So like private key dot write pen. That'll work for me. Is that a method that exists? No. No, of course not. Key generation. Yeah. Key import export. Okay, so how do I do that? Supports supports a legacy format for encoding these as binary or text PEM data. Why is it legacy format? Is there a better format? Oh, cool. It's this one. can be used to decode to this. Is re-exported from the top level of the RSA crate. Okay. Encode private key. Yeah, that's probably what I want. I might need. Is this a feature flag? PK CS8. Yeah, I might need that. Wait, 8? Yeah, it only has the alloc. I bet I have the alloc feature. To this. There we go. Import. But it definitely takes a parameter, which is the line ending. I don't know. Line ending. Can I just do default? Nice. Okay. Zeroizing string. I don't know what a zeroizing string is. Oh, is it one that's trying to zero it out when it clears to try to get it out of memory? That's pretty cool. Let pem equals this, and then let's just debug out the pem. Let's not do the public key. I'm definitely leaking these secrets because I'm not using this at all. Just saying it out loud, right? This is just to check it. Okay, so cool. Private key as just a string. I like that. Fly IO API set and var. Maybe just use the secrets. Yeah, that's what I want. Fly secrets set. Yeah, that's also why. Set secrets. Secrets and fly apps. Fly secrets set. Yeah, is there a different way to do that? Maybe not. So I could have my app run the fly command line. I guess I could just do this locally, right? I'm more auth locally. Yeah, okay. So the tool can do this. I was thinking it was going to be like in the server, but that doesn't make sense. I can just like run a little binary here that takes in the name of a project, maybe puts the public key in the right spot in the repo, and the private key can be set with the fly CTL. Perfect. Okay, so I actually do need args. Am I gonna like pull in clap just for some arg parsing? I don't think I am. So I think we're gonna do just like the simplest arg parsing. Let args equal standard end of args collect to a vet. Let project slug equal args get one, and then you just tell it that you need a project slug. Love that. Cool. Status. Perfect. Nice and easy. Sometimes you just need Copilot instead of a library. That was great. Okay, so we can take, this is the private pem, and then let public pem pem equals to public key pem unwrap. This probably also needs default. Private pem and public pem. One more time, just making sure they work. Need the trait. Yay! Look at those. Got a longer private key, shorter public key. Great. Okay. So, what I need to do now, I want to put the public key somewhere, and I want to set the private key with fly. So let's first find the project though. So ooh, I need to actually like load the projects. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, from env. Do I have a from env here? I think so. Oh, this is silly. Mod. It's kind of okay because when you have different binaries, they can refer to different modules. So isn't it just projects? No. Where is it? Where does this live? Import posts projects. There we go. There we go. It doesn't have a from env, it says. Oh, from static dir. From static dir. Not sure it's async. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so now we have projects. Let project where one of the slugs is the one we're looking at. Perfect. Let fly app name, I think, is gonna be from the project. I want to look at its front matter and look for the fly app name. Oh, I want to have the project be there for sure. And yeah, it doesn't have that field yet. That's okay. Oh, yeah, well, front matter type on the project is what I'm looking for. It has a public fly app name, which is an option of a string. Not going to put it on all my apps, but I want it to be available on some of them. So fly app name. Actually, so let's do this. Let some fly app name. Else. Error print line. No fly app name found for project slug and exit. Love it. Oh, get rid of the unwrap. There we go, because now I have fly app name and I've handled the other case with a nice little error message. Okay, so now we can, and let's just add some print line. No, not quite. Creating public and private key for this should probably just be slug. Actually, it can be like probably as project like .name or something, right? Title. Yeah, that'll work. Print line. He's generated. Oops. He's generated. I like the check. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now let's try to put the public key in the right spot. So do I want to assume which directory we're in? Kinda, right? I also need to figure out where I want these to go. So that's the next question. Where do I want these to go? Right now I have projects, and then I just have these markdown files, and I could put them next to it. I could put it as slug.pub or something, or .pem. They're pem files. I definitely don't have a better idea than that, to be honest. So I think we're doing that. I can always reorganize later. So let public key path equals public key file, I guess, equals file create, except it's not project slug. So it's projects slash .pem. Yeah. Pub.pem. Pub.pem. Sure. And yes, I do use cargo workspaces. Most of my thing, like most of the time I use a cargo workspace, I would say. So like my blog right now is a cargo workspace, though not all of the directories are cargo things, but like it definitely is, right? Tracing common is a crate, servers a crate, Discord, DB, Byte. Some of those are crates. Open AI, I believe, is a crate. Yeah. So yes, I do use workspaces. I like them a lot. I also try to use workspace dependencies for keeping versions of things the same. I like workspaces a lot. I also just like mono repos in general, like putting all the things for a project together. So it just aligns nicely with all the other things I like. Opens a file in write-only mode. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Public key file write all public pem as bytes into diagnostics. Oh, that needs a unwrap. Now that needs to import the write trait. And now this needs to be mutable. Cool. Okay, so now run this for status. It should say, oh, no fly app found for status. That's pretty fair. I don't think that's actually deployed to fly, so pretty reasonable. So let's do that. Status.md. Let's add fly app name is status. And then run this again. Cool, creating public and private key pair for status. No such file or directory. Well, so directory maybe, I guess. Oh, I'm in server right now. Can I do this from here? I said I was going to do it from the root. So that would kind of be a me issue in this case. Cool, we finally got to creating the key pair. We just had to do some compiling in the workspace. That was because I think it was compiling a little more in the workspace than I needed it to, but that's fine. Cool, there's my public key, nice and dropped in there. And this actually like is gonna work for rotating the keys too, right? Like I can just run this again and it'll rotate the keys for me, no problem, which is pretty nifty. So I think though, do I have, so actually let's go to status for a second, because I think we're going to need to deploy this on status, or on fly, before we're going to be able to run this thing. So let's just run fly deploy. I like fly.io. It's what I use for most of my personally style projects. Oh yeah, Rust Analyzer, that was fine to do. Yeah, fly create, I think is what I want. Okay, fly apps create. Status is the name because that's already the thing I set up over there. Oh, name's already been taken. Cool. What's that? Code run. Yeah, I've actually not tried. So I do some work on an open source project that's pretty fun called Battlesnake, where you build an AI snake to compete. I've been doing this for a few years. I have a lot of fun, and now I'm on the core team of that. And they use Cloud Run for a lot of their services, and that's the first time I've, you know, seen like been exposed to that. But it's pretty nice. I like it a lot. Though, is it actually cheap? So is it the databases in GCP that might be expensive? We were noticing the GCP databases, I think, were very expensive, but I think you're right. The Cloud Run isn't too bad. That's one of the things we're working on in Battlesnake Land is bringing costs down. So that's what it was, why that was on my mind. So I think status might just be a reserved name, unless these have to be globally unique. I didn't think they did. Name has already been taken. Yeah, but I don't have something called status. So I think that might just be a reserved name. So let's just name it like Corey JA status for now. Cool. New upgraded Core JA status. Awesome. Core JA status. It's ready to go. No secrets set. Love it. Okay, so let's go back to my blog and do a few things. One, we need to set up statuses thing. Its app name is Core JA status. And then let's go to our local file. And we're going to need to do a new command. We're going to do a standard process command. Fly secrets set. And I think we can just call the secret off public key. Yeah, I like off public key, except I want it to be off public key. Oh, I don't know. Do the private key. You need your public key, figure it out. Useless. Oh yeah, that's fair. That I didn't need to format that. I don't even need to toString it. R just accepts that. Fly secret set off private key as that. Let's run my little thingy. Creating a public private key pair for status. Oh, cool. It just, well, didn't work and just logged it to the screen for me. Gotta love that. Oh, that's fair. I didn't do this right. This equals, okay, so I do need a format here. Format bang. I just was getting the CLI wrong, basically. This is then that, where that is private. And I guess I could have done that. Will it rewrite it to the other way? Doesn't implement display? What do you mean? How do you not implement display? Oh, I see. We gotta deref it to a string, and then it works. So if this also echoes it to the command line, we're gonna have to like not have that happen. Oh. Didn't want that with this app. That did it on a different app. So this now has this secret of off private key that I just created. I'm gonna remove that. Yeah, off private key, go away. Because I want fly help, what is it, dash app probably? Fly secrets help. Maybe it's just... I think it's just like app. Like I think it's just the easy thing. Oh wait, can I just do this? Fly deploy specific app. Go. Dash A. Can I just do like a .arg args? Oh, that's cool though. That's not what I want though. Dash A. Actually, I want to do just dash app. I like writing out them all here. And then this is fly app name. Cool. Let's try this, see if this... So I really like this because I don't actually even have to touch the private key ever, right? It just puts it in the right spot for my infra, which is pretty nifty. Secrets are staged for the first deployment. Hell yeah. Let's just make local, not local. So copy local to like generate app keys. Go to my cargo toml for server and add another little binary here. Name gen app keys. Gen app keys, yeah. Generate app keys, no required feature. Awesome. Cool. Get our key-based auth started by adding a public key for status here and setting the private one in fly. That was really cool. That worked really nicely. And now I have this thing. I can just generate app keys and set them in fly for anything that I might need. That was pretty awesome. Okay, so now let's actually head to... Oh, I also need a version for local keys. Like I do need local versions of these. So I guess let's just do it in this local script for the moment. I think that's better because I already have all this saved. So let's just go to print line, public key, and then let's just do the private key. And then so the reason for this. Not looking for any of that stuff. We're just gonna do it. This is just to create ones that I can use for local dev. Oh, but the annoying thing is this means that I'd have to replace the one I have in Git with this one while I'm developing. Oh, so that's a little bit of an annoying flow, right? For prod, it works great. For local dev, it's not amazing. I'm not sure if I have an amazing answer to that. I think that's okay. But I really don't have an amazing answer. So what am I gonna do? Guess I could just put it in a .local file or something, right? Status dot temp local pem. And then like this, I can put in the mvarc file for the status app. So then if I go to status here, this mvarc doesn't have any secrets in it, so I'm just going to open it. Oh, is there not even an mvarc file? Well, then there's definitely nothing scary in it. Export auth public, oh, private key. And allow. Okay, awesome. So here, I want to change this to a JSON Web Token. So I want to generate a JSON Web Token in this moment. So let's actually start Corey.ja. There we go. Cool. Took it a second, but that's perfect. And okay, so I want to generate a JSON Web Token. Should just be something like this. Cargo add JSON Web Token. see if these two libraries like each other. Oh, come on. Reload the workspace. You got it. JSON Web Tokens. There we go. And now the imports want to work too, of course. A standard env priv key, yeah, from env var auth private key. So the thing I was just saying and got confused about was I wanted to make sure that for encoding you use the private key, which makes sense. That I just was confirming to myself. Let's just be unwrapping at the moment here. We're gonna have to do better error handling soon, but that's not today. Oh, it might be today, but it's not right now. Bytes. Oh, unwrap.asbyte. There we go. Unwrap. Cool. Okay. Debug out the token. But I guess like my so like my claim is gonna be like, I don't even know if I want to make it really like super, like, should I do an expires at, I guess. I don't know. I think it's fine. What am I saying here? All I want to say is we already have a single use code, so I don't really need to worry about expiring these. I could expire them after 5 or 10 minutes if I wanted to anyways, but it's not the most important thing here. So we have state, which is a string. And that's it. Yeah. Like I could just make this the subject. Derive, debug, and serialize. Import it. This is now a claim of, but the sub here is just query.state. Was there something else I needed to implement on my claim? Probably. No. Oh, serialized and or. Yeah, no, yeah. I don't think it needs the other side. Oh. All better. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so now we're just going to post to login claim with the JSON Web Token as our body here. Let's just see what happens. Cool. Screen is not frozen again. Okay, so we're gonna log into our new app /login. Cool. Something broke. Invalid RSA key. Oh no, that's okay. I kind of expected that might happen. I'm pretty sure that was one of the default features of it. So this is like a different, it is not going to work with this type of key. It's probably because I did the depem 8 thing versus the depem 1 thing. So should I go switch it? I can at least try, right? It's pretty easy to do. Yeah, let's look at how you do that. Encode RSA private key to, yeah. Okay, perfect. That wasn't bad at all. Oh. There we go. Okay, so let's take the public key and put it in here. Dang it, it didn't copy. There we go, and then make this bigger so that I can get the whole private key on my page and copy the private key. The private key heads over to this file, into this mvrc, and gets plopped down there, and it's much bigger. And allow. Oh, cool. It finished after all that. So I can do login here. Oh, wait, that might have been an old one. That's okay. Login. Oh, that's not up. That's pretty fair. Okay, we log in here, we get redirected around a lot, and we end up back here, and we still are erroring, probably on doing some PEM stuff. Invalid key format again. That one's the right, like that's gotta be the format you're expecting. Auth private key, auth private key. Yeah, PKSC1, right? Isn't that exactly the thing? PKSC1, yeah. Yeah, no, that should work. Because this is exactly what I'm doing for that public key in here, right? In my GitHub file. Yeah, and this just comes from the environment variable. Yep. Yep, okay, so that's the exact same thing I'm doing over there. Huh, so what's going on with my encoding key? Debug out the extract into variable. What do we call this? We call this key. Put it above the debug, add that, add one of them. Wow, I did not see any of that. Wait, are each of these lines like that? Which lines are like that? All of them? No, but it still does that. Where? Which line? It still feels like it has a lot of width to it on one of these. One of them feels very messed up. Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's fair. Yeah, it does seem like I might have messed up the copy on that, so becomes a little fairer. Wow, this is silly, but it'll work. If I make my thing small enough, then I can easily get this in the copy paste without any other stuff with it, I believe. Now we can make it bigger again so that it's seeable. Okay, we're gonna have to quit that. Did we actually have to quit that? I don't know. My terminal's all funky right now. Okay, we're back. Head over here. Go to this file. Dang it, that is not the whole thing. Not even close to the whole thing. There we go. It does still want to do this for me, but is it real? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at all that space over here. Wow. Okay. I'm not sure which size I like. Let's try there. Okay, okay, okay. Oh no, that's the one I wanted. Here. Run. Server's up. Refresh. Oh, connection refused. Yay. That's good, because that just means this server is not up, which is pretty understandable. And this still isn't going to work, but that's fine, because now it's not going to work. Error while parsing a value. Yeah. Yep, because now it tried and it failed to do the post. And the reason for that is because I have to change what this is looking for on this side. So now if we go to our auth route, nope, it's just in routes. Looking for our claim route. It's just going to be this now. And the body is going to be a JSON Web Token, like just a, it's just a string. Import body from accent body. Yep. Maybe that's not how you're supposed to do that. Use Wait, use struct pattern syntax instead. What? Okay, I don't think I'm doing that right. Axum, body. Use bytes as an extractor. Maybe that's just what I want. Axum body. Oh, okay, I can just ask for the whole body here. Maybe. Axum body, yeah. This is just basic. I'm just getting tripped up on this. So like Axum, Rust, what other types of bodies do you support? I guess I could just send it as JSON and solve all my problems here. JSON of body is a JSON of claim body, which doesn't exist yet, but I can make claim body in just a second. Struct claim body has a JWT of a string, and then struct JWT claim is just state, which is a string. Okay, so we have the body, so let JWT equals body.jwt, let, yeah, jwt.decode. Oh, this might need to know who I am not in the thing. Right, it's signed with my public key, but I need to be like, hey, I'm me. So then this is still a project slug / claim, and then we have a path thing for project slug is a path of a string. Let projects, let projects decoding key from RSA pen. I don't want that though, so it's going to be more like project.auth public key. It's a method. JWT claim, yep, that's gonna need some derives on it. Okay. Unwrap this key. Yeah, that doesn't exist. We'll make that in a second. Unwrap that too, and then let this be JWT dot claims dot state. This is the only thing I need then, so let's generate it. Auth public key, yeah, okay. I don't actually know how I would go about getting this from this. So even in my projects file here, right? So this does have a path. Yeah, see, so now like I need a separate piece of metadata that's attached here, and it doesn't fit as easily into this. Maybe I can try to grab it from this. So I have path. Let pub key path equals path. Oh yeah. Yeah. Let. No, that's us. That's what is this? Are you a string or you're a path buff? That's fine. Yeah. Let pub key file. Let pub key equals read to string. Import it from standard fs read to string. Yeah, now we have a public key. Oh yeah, actually no, I do want this to be just okay. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Give me an option back. No, that's not gonna work, because I would need this directory. Like, I can maybe do it, but it's not what I want to do, right? But I can, like, just do project stir dot get file. Let pub key file. So this is a hack. This is a hack. It will only work from static, but that's the only way I use it. So like, yeah, this just doesn't work. Like, right, from file shouldn't know about this static thing. It just doesn't really make sense, but it does at the moment. Key file map read to string. No, I don't want that map. F dot read. Contents. If you have a file, then you should just be able to do it. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so now I have the public key. Now what do I do with it? Because I can't, like, assign it to this very easily. I could add it to the front matter, but I don't... That's, like, a little annoying to do. What I could do is just do front matter with key and just do public auth public key is an option of a string. Impl front matter with key from front matter with a key. Yeah, love it. Front matter with key from front matter metadata of key.cloned. Let's just make it a string right there then you don't need this at all. Okay, so I just attached it to the front matter, which is silly, but I think it'll work. Oh, so then this is just project.frontmatter.auth public key as bytes. Nice. Okay. Then it should just work. Oh, yeah. Let auth public key unwrap. Sure. Yeah. Clone it too. Nah, we just don't close it because I think as bytes will be fine. Auth public key as bytes. Yeah, you're good. Oh wait, I was wrong. There we go. Oh, can't move. Okay. Cool. That was a little silly, but it's fine. I just had to call it as ref so it didn't try to take the ownership of this. I think we're getting this might be it. That might work now. Boom. No. Login just couldn't be found. So it has the slash at the end? It is. Wow. That's crazy. What happened here? Error while parsing value. Okay, so that failed. What happened over here? Status 405. Wrong route. Ah, yes, because I changed the URL here. I have to tell it what app I'm from, so it knows how to find my key. Still couldn't decode value. Status 415? What's status 415? HTTP status. Wow, I cannot type. Unsupported media type. Unsupported media type? Oh, I do actually think I need to do something, because I have it as that. Okay. This. JSON of JSON bang JWT token. Expected unknown found value. What? Okay, so it does need a reference to it, which is fine. It's silly, but it's fine. Okay, rerun this one. Go over here, start this one again. We'll stay on this one's logs. They might be the more helpful one. Invalid algorithm. That sounds reasonable. Oh yeah. Oh, okay, so where do I put the algorithm again for this? How do I decode one of these? That's the wrong thing. This one. How do I decode with a specific header? There we go, that. Validation with this algorithm. Where am I? This is in this. Do. Invalid signature, of course. Uh, 256. 256. Yeah, I sign it with my private key. Yeah. Yeah, and I even put this in the header. Types automatically set. Yeah. Well, and I set RS. Make my claim, which has a subfield in it. Sure. Oh, well, that's also wrong then. It has a subfield. Didn't remember that. Sub. Invalid signature is what I got. Oops. Keep alt tabbing back to it. Invalid signature. Okay. Oh yeah, this doesn't get logged here. Does it get logged here? No. But I can do that. Debug. JSON Web Token. I want to see it. Man. I need to stop clicking that button. Okay. JWT decoder. Yep. That is right. And I should be able to take this public key too. Signature verified. Yeah, so that actually verifies perfectly. So maybe the public key's not working right. Because that is exactly what I would have expected it to look like. No, that also looks right. Ah. It might be this. It might be that that automatically did it for me. And this does not. Okay, now let's try it again. Now let's see if it'll finally make it all the way through. No, not up yet. Invalid signature. But like, it's not wrong. Yeah, but if you take all of the new lines and replace them with actual new lines, let's see if it decides to be valid. Yeah, it's just hard to tell. Okay. So print line. It's actually, and that's not the one I want either. I want the auth public key. So I want to verify that it's the right one. But look, it seems like it's the right one. So this is weird because my JWT seems valid. The signature seems even to verify. Oh. Oh, that's the real public key. Because I'm using the real public key for it, not the local one. Yeah, I don't have a good solution for this yet. Missing required claim expiration. Oh, okay. Sure. Okay. Expiration is chrono now. Why not have that right here? Cargo add chrono. Plus duration minutes, like 5 minutes. This is chrono duration. Cargo. Timestamp. As you size. There we go. Okay. I think this may be it now, but now I have to do all the way from the beginning. Actually, no, I don't. That's fine. I'm doing it though. Log in, go to status. Yes! We got all the way logged in with the JSON Web Token with public private key in there. Now I've proven that I am who I say I am. And I think we're going to wrap up from there. That was like all the things that I wanted to get through on this stream. So I want to make a commit here. But I definitely... Oh, just need to. I wasn't paying attention. And varc. And varc. There we go. Get the JWT auth working here. I guess probably what I'll do eventually is pull this code into a crate, so I don't have to put this code in each app I make, but that's not a today thing. Get the JWT auth working for single sign-on, or auth, single sign-on. Auth isn't the right word there, but it's okay. What? Oh, that's because I did brew stuff. Well, I'll push later then. So let's remove some of these debugs here. Debug bang. Those two can go away. Perfect. Oh, this file to go away. Okay. Then there's search for PEM. There, it exists somewhere here. This then wants to become pub.pem. Awesome. GCA techm, use a signed JWT to make sure the service initiating the token claim is the right service. Perfect. Get that pushed up. Oh, I can't push it up right now because of the OpenSSL thing we just ran into. But with that, I think we're gonna get out of here. I am gonna get this video uploaded though. I actually didn't get last week's update uploaded to YouTube, so I will get that done today and get this one uploaded as well. And I will see everyone around the internet this week. Thanks for coming and stopping by. If you want to come and hang out with me some more, you can head over to my Discord, which you can find a link for by going to github.com/CoreyJA and finding my profile. And once GitHub loads, clicking on the nice Discord link here. Would love to come have you hang out and chat with me. And with that, I think I'm going to get out of here. Have a good Sunday, team, and I'll talk to everyone later. Thanks for joining. Bye.